So as you might have guessed from the intro track, today we're checking out the Black Cat 30 from Bad Cat Amps. This is the first amp released as part of their Mod Shop series, which is going to consist of small batch runs of amplifiers, featuring tweaks or modifications to amps in the main line. Now the Black Cat 30 is a fresh take on their popular Black Cat amplifier and features mods designed by the legendary Mark Sampson. The biggest changes being the bump-in output from 20 to 30 watts. It's got a whole new tone stack, and both channels have been revoiced to bring it more in line with Mark's original Black Cat designs. I've been playing a standard series Black Cat for a couple of years now, and it was very apparent from the first time I plugged in the 30 that it's a very different amplifier. The feel and response is quite different. I figured I'd make a demo showing off the sounds of this amplifier. We'll play with humbuckers, with single coils, and then we can do a direct comparison with the standard series Black Cat. And hopefully that sheds some light for anybody who's either torn between the two, or maybe you have the regular and you're considering an upgrade, or maybe you're just looking for a new amp and this caught your eye, but hopefully it helps out. Let's just go over the features real quick and we'll jump into some sounds. It's 30 watts of output, so it's powered by a quad set of EL84s. It's got custom wound transformers. On the front here, we've got the same control layout as the standard series Black Cat, but with a much easier to read font, which I appreciate. You've got two channels, volume and master control for each, treble, bass, and cut controls for the EQ. This is shared between both channels. Intensity and speed controls for the trem, and a digital reverb. Don't let that scare you. It sounds fantastic, very usable. On the back, you've got a buffered effects loop, a direct out if you want to plug into an IR loader or right into your interface for direct recording. You've got an input for the foot switch that's included, which lets you switch the channels or turn the trem on and off. And both the combo or the head and cab versions are loaded with a custom Bad Cat voice Celestion Vintage 30. Alright, so let's check out some sounds. We'll start with humbuckers. I've got my ES355 plugged straight into the Black Cat 30. Recording everything with the Royer R10 hot rod. We're plugged into channel 1. Everything's at noon to start. Let's see how it sounds. For me, that's where I'd start if I wanted big, bold cleans. You can push this channel, get some nice grit, which we'll do in a moment. The EQ here is very interactive. Treble, bass, and cut controls. And if you're pushing the treble, you're going to get less bottom, and vice versa. You'll notice that with both controls. The cut, kind of like your old Vox AC style amps, rolls off the high end. I treat that kind of like a fine tune at the end. So let's see. Let's hear that treble knob. We'll just sweep it. Play with the bass knob. And let's sweep the cut knob now. I tend to prefer it somewhere up around here. Keeps everything nice and bright, but just rolls off some of the harsher frequencies you can get. Now let's play with the volume and master. So let's roll it back. Push our master to compensate. Now you can get some really clean tone. If you followed my channel for a while, you know that clean is not really my thing. I tend to run everything a little hotter. Just flip that to the bridge for a second here. Channel is really nice with overdrives and fuzz pedals if you want to get some of those big, really pushed cranked amp tones. But I think for the majority of players, and myself included now, kind of like to run this a little cleaner. And you've got a big range there. Let's add in some of that reverb. You can hear it's a big sounding reverb, but it never really takes over, which is nice. I believe, I could be wrong, that it's wired in parallel with your signal. And it can get big. Again, this for me, I kind of, same with most bands with spring reverb, I like to leave on just to create a little bit of space. So it's not totally dry. If I want something bigger, then I would run, a reverb pedal in the loop. Let's hear the trem. That's foot switchable. You've got a pretty big range of speed there. And it can get pretty choppy as you increase the intensity. Now let's flip this over to the drive channel. This is one of the biggest changes for me going from the Player Series to the Black Cat 30 is the volume or your gain control here has a lot more, to me, usable range. I found on the Standard Series it got very aggressive very quick, whereas this, you can still get as much gain, but it's spread out throughout the range of that knob a lot nicer. Here we are about a quarter of the way up. Bring that master up. And this is kind of where I've been playing it the most, just up around 11 o'clock on the volume. That's just a great crunch. Keep pushing that volume control a little higher. Still got a lot more to go. lot of gain here. A lot of really good tones. I find myself not even really needing pedals with this amp. It's a very open feeling or sounding drive, which was a change as well from the Black Cat. Once you get the Black Cat up into that territory, it's a little more compressed, a little more aggressive. But this is just a big open sounding distortion that I love. And pretty usable master volumes on both channels. Let's just hear that real quick. I'm just maybe blending some rooms to get an idea. You know, obviously it's not going to sound like a crank tube amp at that volume, but if you want to just play guitar and practice a little bit and it's nighttime, you're not going to be bothering anybody. And it still sounds pretty good. Let's crank it back up. We'll play a little bit with the EQ, hear how it responds here. So you can hear a lot of different tones depending on how you've got this dialed in. Now let's flip over to something with single coils, and got my Strat plugged in, back on channel 1, volume and master at noon. EQ kind of set how I like it with the Strat, treble rolled back a bit, a little more bottom end on the bass control. Let's hear it. That really big glassy cleans. Let's push the volume a bit, get back into that breakup territory. Really like it with the Strat. Go over to channel 2. This is how I set the amp most of the time with humbuckers or single coils. Nice crunch. I find this kind of setting really shows off just how responsive the amp is, because I can start to clean this up just by easing up on the picking attack, and then even more so with the volume control. Now with a sound like that, I run it kind of crunchy. I can hit it harder with pedals if I want, you know, bigger fuzz tones or bigger drives or a lead boost. Roll back for the cleans, or you still got that whole channel 1 to set up however you like. Very versatile. And I just want to quickly talk about one of my favorite things that they've updated with that change. And I don't know whether to attribute it to the tone stack or the revoice channel, or probably a combo. But the shared EQ balances a lot nicer with this amp compared to the Player Series Black Cat. That was my biggest gripe with the previous one. I mean, any amp with a shared EQ, there's always going to be a little bit of compromise. But I found that was the biggest challenge with the Black Cat, was finding tones. You know, I find a tone that I love on channel 2, sounds okay on channel 1. Tone I love on channel 1, okay on channel 2. So just trying to balance that out and find a sound that works really well on both was a challenge. And so far in my experience with the Black Cat 30 they balance much better. I'll just jump back and forth between a couple and see what you think. Clean that up a little. Push this a little harder, we'll change up our tone a little. So let's jump to a bit of a comparison between the two. I'm going to record some riffs direct and then reamp them out to each amp. That way you're getting the same take. There's no variable there. Play some sounds on the clean channel and the dirty back and forth, and let me know what you think. Alright everyone, thank you for checking out the video. Hopefully you found it helpful. Let me know which amp you preferred. And if you have any questions about them, let me know in the comments or shoot me a message on Instagram. Big thank you to Bad Cat for sending these for me to demo. It's been a blast playing them. Really big fan of both, but this Black Cat 30 is really just kind of blown me away. I think that's going to be the keeper for me. And, you know, like, subscribe, all that nonsense. And until next time, thanks for stopping by.